Hey guys, this is Fern with Trek and Trail Outdoors. So welcome back to the channel. This is actually only my second video with this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. So I decided to do a series of videos talking about preparing for wilderness adventure. Those of you that know me, you guys kind of know what I do. I do a lot of wilderness activity. A lot of this stuff is very important to me. So I wanted to do a very quick kind of condensed version of Dave Canterbury's from the Pathfinder school. He put out a series of videos that elaborates on the 10 C's of survivability. His videos are very comprehensive. He does a very thorough job of describing what everything is. So if you guys have a chance, go and look for his videos. He expands on the list a lot more than I'm going to in this video. I'm just going to do something really quick and dirty for you guys so you have an idea of how to prepare for a wilderness adventure. So I have notes here, so I hope you guys don't mind that I'm looking back and forth between you guys and my notes. This is what's called the 10 C's of survivability. So I'm going to start really quick with what I have here. The first item on this list is a cutting tool. There's a reason that it's the number one thing on this list. It's one of the most important things you can take with you when you're out in the wilderness. For me personally, I carry the RD6 knife from Ontario. It's a really beefy knife, 6-inch blade. I use this for almost all of my outdoor activities. It's been a very dependable knife. I'll talk about this more in another video so you guys know my mentality or my thought process as to why I chose this knife. But this is my cutting tool. This is my primary thing, and that normally goes on my belt if I'm ever out in the wilderness or hiking. And as a backup, I usually carry a small Mora. This is a Mora 711. It's just a much smaller blade. It weighs next to nothing. I can just throw this in my pack and kind of forget about it. Now for me, I don't mind having the extra weight in my pack. So if you can find one, and if you don't mind the weight, I actually recommend that along with your knife, you carry a small folding saw. And that is so, anything that you don't want to have to use your knife for. I know sometimes chopping through logs or something to make firewood out of, that's not only very labor intensive, but it does punish your knife a lot more than you probably want to, depending on your knife. A nice folding saw can sometimes make those jobs a lot easier, so I actually carry both. So that's my entry for cutting tool. So the next thing on this list is combustion device, and I actually have several. Well, I have 3 different ways. So for me, there is a redundancy to some of this stuff. When it comes to things like fire, which can be life saving if you can get a fire going in certain situations, I always follow the rule of 3. You always go 3 deep into some of these items in case one of them fails or you lose something. You always have a backup and then a backup for the backup. In my case, I carry a small little emergency kit that has a lot of this stuff in it, but I carry for fire. These are stormproof matches in a waterproof container with a striker on the outside. There is a spare striker inside, so that's one. I also carry a Zippo. It's a big lighter, just a regular big. They're like $1 at the gas station. So I carry at least one of these in my emergency kit. The thing I like about these is that even once they run out of fuel, they're still good because it will still generate a spark. So if you know how to create good tinder for starting a fire, sometimes all you need is a spark. So that's another thing. And the last thing in my kit is this is the Strike Force from Ultimate Survival Technologies, and this is kind of one of those all-in-one fire starters. It's basically a ferrocerium rod on a handle with a striker built in, and this basically just generates a spark. On the handle side, sorry about that. So on the handle side of the ferrocerium rod is a small little compartment with a couple of quick tinder tabs. And if you guys don't know what quick tinders are, they're small little plugs, kind of rolls of cotton that have been soaked in paraffin wax. So you break those open and you fluff them up, and it'll catch a spark really easy, and the paraffin will burn it for longer than the cotton on its own. So this is kind of my triple redundant system for what's called a combustion device on the 10 C's of survivability. So that's another one. So moving on to item number 3 is cover. So cover, I've kind of gone into it a little bit in the previous video, but cover can mean a couple of different things. I mean, it can be something as basic as wearing the right clothing for the climate. I'm in West Texas in late summer, so it's warm. Clear skies all around. There's no chance of rain. The wind is pretty calm. I'm not too worried about sheltering from the elements, but I almost always carry an extra poncho. This is just one of those old military spec ponchos. It's been rolled up nice and tight. I can throw it on if it starts to rain. I can string up some cordage to make a temporary shelter, and this will help me in the most essential of situations to find some cover from the elements or from something else. So cover, you can get as elaborate as you want on it. Just make sure that you plan for your environment and your climate. So the next item on that list, number 4, is container. Now, container is basically, the way they describe it here, is a single piece of gear that most beginners fail to prioritize. What they mean here specifically with this list is a container is something that you can boil water in, or you can carry water in. I have 2 inside my pack. I'm not going to get it out because it's kind of really in there. I have a 3.5 liter or 3 liter Camelback reservoir. That's my primary system for carrying water. But if I need to boil it for disinfecting it or sanitizing it, I actually carry this Stanley cup system of it's like a Stanley cook set, and just a regular stainless steel mug. Either one of these you can use to transport water, you can cook in it, or you can boil it if you absolutely need to find a way to sanitize your water. So a lot of people forget about this, but this is really important. So moving on to the next one, cordage. Just a minute ago I mentioned that I carry a poncho with me, and if I had to do it, I can always throw up put up a temporary shelter to get out of the sun or the rain or whatever. I can't do that with that poncho if I don't have something to tie it up with. So I carry a little pouch, and in here I have a couple of different hanks of different types of cordage. So this is about 200 feet of number 36 bank line. All it is this is a tarred cordage. I would say it's about a 1/16 or a little bit over inches thick. It does have a break strength of about 200 pounds. It's waterproof and it's very resilient. It's also very cheap, so if you need this for tying just general purpose stuff, this is your great stuff. I also have about 200-foot hanks of just normal 550 paracord. Paracord is very versatile, and both bankline and paracord, if you break it down and separate the fibers, it will burn, so that's another way that you can start a fire. But with all of this, it's not just for tying off stuff. I mean, you can use it to repair things. Your pack breaks, one of your straps break, you can lash it together temporarily. You can build a shelter. I can I can put up a ridge line and throw a poncho over it. Now I have an A-frame or a lean-to. So cordage is actually a lot more important than people realize. Number 6 is cotton bandanas, and the list, according to Dave Canterbury, says that you want to carry 2 large cotton bandanas. I know some places sell the big 3-foot cotton bandanas. I personally haven't seen those anywhere where I live. The bandanas that are normally available out here are just the normal, handkerchief size bandanas, which are great, and I do carry 2 of these with me, but I also carry at least 1, and right now I have 2 cotton Shemaghs. These are those big desert scarves. A lot of you military guys are going to know exactly what these are, but these are 3 feet by 3 feet. They're all cotton, and they come in different kinds of patterns, but I have 2 of these right now. So the thing with the cotton bandanas is, according to the list, you want at least a 3 foot by 3 foot square. A bandana can be used for bandaging. You can cut it into strips and use it for lashings or cordage. You can filter water with it. You can keep yourself cool, make shade, protect yourself from the elements, protect your face. You can use it as a bandage. Again, if you tear it into strips, maybe you have some kind of cut or wound, and you can use that to wrap the wound up. You can also make splints with it. The other thing is it can be a hygiene device. So those big Shemaghs, if I needed to clean off somehow, if I get dirty, I can wipe off with those things, rinse them off, use them again later, or I can dry off with one of those if I get wet somehow. So again, one of those multi-use items that's really good to have with you at all times. So the other one is cargo tape. My little red emergency kit, I'm not going to pull it out again, but I have about 50 feet of 2-inch silver Gorilla tape. It's like duct tape, it's Gorilla brand tape, it's what's called cargo tape. Again, one of the most versatile items you can have with you in a wilderness or outdoor situation. You can use it to repair your tent, repair your pack. If you don't have anything else to bandage a wound with, you can put your gauze or your cotton bandana, something, and then wrap it in duct tape or cargo tape. Cargo tape will also burn. The adhesive on it and the materials it's made of will burn if you need to get a fire going quickly. Again, one of those multi-use items that you always want to have with you, even if it's just a little roll. I know some of these stores like Cabela's and Dick's Sporting Goods, they sell these little packs of duct tape, 2-inch duct tape that are basically just rolled onto themselves. You want to eliminate that big cardboard tube that they come on though, because that's just bulky. So cargo tape is the other one. Number 8 is a compass. That's pretty self-explanatory. I actually carry 2 of them. I carry this one. This is a UST branded compass. It's just a map compass, but it does have a movable bezel, so you can do different things with it. I mean, again, I'll talk about how to use a compass in another video, but I carry 2 of them. I carry one like this, and I carry a slightly smaller one in my red emergency kit. So a compass, I mean, that's again self-explanatory. You want to know where you are and where you're going at all times. Cloth sail needle, that I do not have with me right now. I actually I'm the one that I'm using, I'm still debating on whether I want to keep that one or go with something different. I don't know that a cloth sail needle specifically is something that you absolutely have to have in that style, but I would say just a heavy needle for canvas or leather is something that you want to have with you. I do have one of those, just a straight canvas needle, not a sail needle. That's inside my emergency kit in a small little tube. Again, you can use it for repairing gear, repairing a shelter, one of those multi-use items that you always want to have around for whatever reason. And I believe the last one is a candling device. Candling device, all that means is something that you can illuminate your surroundings with. The most versatile and basic one of those is just a simple headlamp. A headlamp, I will always recommend a headlamp over a flashlight any day because it allows you to remain hands-free to do anything else that you need to do. So I have a couple of those. Again, I usually travel with people and I like having a spare for whatever reason. So these are from Petzl. They're 150 lumens each, and they're just great to have around. But with that, always make sure that you have spare batteries for them. The other thing that I carry, at least a handful of, they weigh nothing, they really don't take up a lot of space in your pack, is I carry several colors of these Chem Lights or glow sticks. And these are just good for whatever. I mean, sometimes you need to see something in the dark, maybe at a campsite. You don't want to blind everybody else with 150 lumens of light. You can just break a red chem light and have illumination for just you, for yourself in your tent or something like that. So I carry a handful of these around, and that is my option for the candling device. All of this stuff fits very nicely in my pack. I have a 50-liter mountain pack. I'm not quite sure of the make or model of this, the branding on this. A lot of this gear is It's branded from the BSA, the Boy Scouts of America, who I fortunately have a very gracious sponsor who gives my troop a lot of this stuff. So it is a very rugged ripstop nylon pack, not too big, not too small, but all of this fits inside my pack, plus my 3 liters of water and my first aid kit and my emergency kit, and I have room to spare. If it's cold, I can throw a jacket or a windbreaker in here. I can throw one of those military poncho liners, the good old whoobies, in here and still have room. And something like this is just going to be a lot more comfortable to use than a tactical backpack. You know, tactical backpacks are great, but they're heavy. Sometimes they're noisy. They're a lot more complicated. Sometimes I think that they need to be. This one works really great, and like I said, once I have it all packed up and ready to go, it's not very heavy. The whole thing comes way under 20 pounds. I haven't weighed it. It's more than 10 pounds, obviously, maybe a little, maybe 15 or so, but not more than 20. Fits in my back. I have full water bladder in here. All the stuff that you just saw is in here. It's very comfortable to wear. As you know, my knife would go on my belt, and then I'd be ready to go. So that is my introduction to the 10 C's of survivability for those of you guys that were curious about that and wanted to know just a quick intro on how to prepare for your next wilderness experience. Guys, if you're watching from the Boy Scouts, give us a shout out here on the comments. If you want to know something else, feel free to post your questions in the comments. As always, guys, I'm just starting out with this. This is a project that I've been kind of convinced to do by several people, a lot of people that I work with through not just the Boy Scouts, but in my regular life. A lot of people have wanted me to share some of this knowledge with you as far as wilderness preparedness. So this is just a quick intro to all of that. If there's something else that you guys want to know about, post it in the comments. Let me know. I'll be glad to cover any other topic that you guys are curious about in subsequent videos. But guys, thank you for sticking with me on this video. I know it's a little longer than I wanted it to be, but again, I just wanted to cover the 10 C's of survivability in a smaller, more condensed video than David Canterbury did it. He's a great guy. I don't know him personally, but his videos are very informative, but they can be a little overwhelming if you're just starting off. So guys, thank you for sitting through this one, and thank you for your support and encouragement for me to start doing this. Hopefully this turns into something a lot more impactful and a lot more meaningful to a lot of people. And guys, good luck out in the wilderness. Be prepared, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.